Battle of Thermopylae, fought in 480 BCE, remains one of the most iconic clashes of the ancient world. Known for the courage of a small Greek force led by King Leonidas of Sparta, this battle against the massive Persian army under King Xerxes has become symbolic of resistance against overwhelming odds. Thermopylae's narrow pass and rugged terrain were strategic, allowing the Greeks to use their smaller numbers to their advantage. This confrontation was pivotal in the Greco-Persian Wars, as it slowed the Persian advance and provided a rallying cry for Greek unity against a common enemy. 1. Background and context. The Greco-Persian Wars began in the early 5th century BCE, as the powerful Persian Empire sought to expand its influence into Greece. The roots of the conflict lay in the Ionian Revolt, 499 to 493 BCE, in which several Greek city-states in Asia Minor, then under Persian control, rebelled against Persian rule. This revolt was supported by the city-state of Athens, aggravating the Persians and triggering a series of invasions aimed at subjugating mainland Greece. Darius I, the Persian king, launched the first invasion, which culminated in the Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE. Although outnumbered, the Athenians achieved a decisive victory, forcing the Persians to retreat. However, the Persian threat was far from over. Xerxes I, Darius' son, ascended the throne and vowed to complete his father's unfinished conquest. By 480 BCE, Xerxes assembled one of the largest armies in ancient history, with estimates of its size ranging from 100,000 to over 1 million soldiers. Modern historians suggest around 100,000 to 150,000. This massive force moved towards Greece by both land and sea, intent on subjugating the independent Greek city-states. The Greeks, aware of the impending threat, attempted to unite and formulate a strategy to defend their homeland. They decided to make a stand at the narrow pass of Thermopylae in central Greece, a location that would nullify the Persian numerical advantage. 2. Strategic importance of Thermopylae. Thermopylae, meaning hot gates, was a narrow pass flanked by mountains on one side and the Aegean Sea on the other. It was about 15 meters wide at its narrowest point, ideal for the Greeks to hold against the larger Persian forces. The Greek strategy was to use this bottleneck to limit the effectiveness of the Persian numbers and rely on their heavily armed hoplites, who were equipped with spears, swords, and bronze armor. The choice of Thermopylae as a defensive position was strategic. While the Persians could outflank the Greeks by using a narrow path through the mountains, the Greeks stationed Phocian soldiers on this trail, hoping they could prevent a Persian breakthrough. The Greek force was relatively small, consisting of approximately 7,000 men, led by King Leonidas of Sparta. Among these soldiers were 300 Spartans, renowned for their discipline and combat skills, along with contingents from other Greek city-states, such as Thespiae and Thebes. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Leonidas and his men were resolved to hold the pass and delay the Persian advance for as long as possible. 3. The battle begins. Xerxes anticipated a swift victory and sent messengers to persuade the Greeks to surrender, offering them favorable terms. Leonidas famously refused, and his response, reportedly "Molon labe," come and take them, became a symbol of defiance. Xerxes then ordered his forces to attack the Greeks in the narrow pass. The Persians launched several frontal assaults, but their sheer numbers proved ineffective in the confined space. Greek hoplites formed a phalanx, a tightly packed formation that allowed them to withstand the initial Persian attacks. The phalanx was designed for close quarters combat, where the heavily armed Greeks held a distinct advantage over the lighter Persian infantry. For 2 days, the Greeks held their ground, inflicting heavy casualties on the Persian forces. The narrowness of the pass prevented the Persians from bringing their full army to bear, forcing them to send waves of soldiers who were systematically cut down by the disciplined Greek defenders. The Persian Immortals, an elite unit within Xerxes' army, were also sent into the fray, but could not break the Greek line. The Immortals were highly trained, but equipped with lighter armor, which made them vulnerable to the heavily armored Greek hoplites in the phalanx. This repeated failure began to frustrate Xerxes, who had underestimated the resolve and skill of the Greek forces. 4. Betrayal and the fall of Thermopylae. Despite the Greek success in holding the pass, their position was compromised when a local Greek named Ephialtes betrayed them. Ephialtes revealed to Xerxes the existence of the Thermopylae path, a narrow mountain trail that bypassed the Greek position at Thermopylae. The Persian king seized this opportunity and sent a detachment of soldiers, led by the Persian general Hydarnes, to use the trail and encircle the Greek forces from behind. When Leonidas became aware of the impending encirclement, he realized that the battle was lost. He ordered the majority of the Greek forces to retreat, recognizing that continued resistance would result in unnecessary casualties without changing the outcome. However, Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, along with 700 Thespians who refused to abandon him, chose to stay behind and make a final stand. This act of sacrifice allowed the rest of the Greek forces to regroup and prepare for future battles. In the final moments, Leonidas and his men fought fiercely, knowing they faced certain death. According to ancient sources, they inflicted significant casualties on the Persians before being overwhelmed. Leonidas himself was killed in the fighting, and the remaining defenders were surrounded and slain. The Persians, enraged by the Greek resistance, mutilated Leonidas's body as a display of dominance, although Xerxes eventually ordered it to be buried as a mark of respect. 5. Aftermath and Legacy. The Battle of Thermopylae, despite being a tactical defeat, had profound strategic implications. It delayed the Persian advance and allowed the Greek city-states time to organize a cohesive defense. In the days following Thermopylae, the Persian army continued its march into Greece, capturing and sacking Athens. However, the Greeks achieved a decisive victory shortly after at the Battle of Salamis, where the Greek navy, led by Athenian general Themistocles, outmaneuvered the larger Persian fleet in the narrow straits. Thermopylae's significance lies in its psychological impact. The bravery of Leonidas and his men became a rallying point for the Greeks, inspiring them to unite against the Persian invaders. It demonstrated that, despite their differences, the Greek city-states could stand together to defend their homeland and way of life. Thermopylae also served as a powerful symbol of sacrifice, resilience, and patriotism, values that would resonate through Western history. The story of Thermopylae has been immortalized in literature, art, and popular culture, often as a symbol of resistance against insurmountable odds. Greek historians such as Herodotus documented the battle, contributing to its enduring legacy. In modern times, Thermopylae continues to be celebrated, and Leonidas's famous stand has been adapted in various forms, including films and novels. 6. Historical interpretations and cultural significance. Thermopylae remains a topic of historical debate, especially regarding the accuracy of ancient sources and the size of Xerxes' army. Some historians question Herodotus' figures, considering them exaggerated, while others focus on the cultural significance of the battle rather than its precise details. Regardless of the numbers, the spirit of the Greeks' resistance at Thermopylae has transcended the historical specifics, embodying ideals of heroism and sacrifice. Modern retellings often emphasize the themes of freedom versus tyranny, casting the Greek defenders as champions of liberty against the autocratic Persian Empire. While these interpretations simplify the complexities of ancient Greek society, they highlight the values associated with Thermopylae, which continue to inspire military and political leaders to this day. The Battle of Thermopylae remains one of the most celebrated last stands in history, emblematic of defiance in the face of overwhelming force. Although the Greeks were ultimately defeated at Thermopylae, their courage galvanized the Hellenic world, uniting the city-states in a fight for survival. Thermopylae stands as a timeless reminder of the power of unity and the resilience of the human spirit, symbolizing the capacity for bravery even when defeat seems certain. Its legacy endures, capturing imaginations and serving as a testament to the enduring values of sacrifice and resistance.